Hello and welcome to a brand new Parry's Pickups. Thanks very much for joining us today. We'll jump straight in with a PS3 game, and that's Dragon Ball Raging Blast. I'm sure many of you aren't so surprised to see a Dragon Ball Z game in this episode because I'm a bit of a fan, and as it came to the point where I have a lot of Dragon Ball Z games, games like this one that I'd neglected to pick up in the past, I thought why not try it out. And it was fairly affordable, I think under a tenner, and it's alright, it's pretty good. But actually what happened was I bought this one around the same time, and it was slightly cheaper than the original one. I got this for the Xbox 360 because, you know, I like to have say a Raging Blast game on both systems, you know, just in case, you know, I fancy playing a Raging Blast on my 360 today and not on my PS3 for whatever reason. Anyway, so I played this one first, and I really liked the way it played. I thought it was very well done. And then I played this, and it feels like a less refined version of this, which, you know, you expect, I guess, from a sequel. This one, however, I really like the story aspect to this one. It goes through all the sagas, you know, but it lets you pick which saga you want to play on, which is fantastic because you don't have to. You're not forced to do the first Saiyan saga. For every Dragon Ball Z game always starts you, well, as far as I know, from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, which is the Saiyan saga, so you replay those events a lot in these games. At least with this one you can jump straight into a later saga, so you don't have to do all that again, which is quite nice. And it's got some great cutscenes. Overall presentation is fantastic in this game, and it's one of them Tenkaichi style battle systems, so it's not a 2D fighter, it's a 3D arena based fighter, basically, where you can fly up and down, and it does complicate the gameplay somewhat, but it does make it really feel like an epic Dragon Ball Z battle. It's just the camera was a bit of a problem in this one. I didn't feel the controls were as refined as they ended up in the game I've already shown to you. That is Raging Blast 2, which as an interesting setup, rather than make you play through storylines, what it does is allows you to play events, and each sort of fight is an event. And as far as I can tell, from the little I played of it, they're a bit all over the place. And that's okay, but it doesn't seem to have that same story mode. But I might be missing something here because I've not played a heck of a lot of it, but I played enough to work out the battle system, at least on this, is improved over the original Raging Blast. This one also comes with a film. It's an odd one. It's called Dragon Ball Plan to Eradicate Super Saiyans. The Super Saiyans, sorry. And that's interesting. It's kind of one of those Dragon Ball films that doesn't need to exist because it has to slot in somewhere in the time frame, and then of course the events of the story never really affect anything else. So, but it's fun nonetheless, and this character here is included in that film. So I don't know if that film's unique to this game, maybe someone can tell me, but this was actually cheaper than Raging Blast, so I'd recommend this one over the original. Moving along, I went to CX in Manchester and I picked up The Last of Us, one of the last PS3 games I was planning to get. In fact, I was planning to get this one on the PS4, but it was always very expensive, and I knew it was going to take up some precious hard drive space on my PS4, so I thought, why not get the PS3 version? It only takes up 50 megabytes of space, which is lovely. Any game that doesn't suck up all your hard drive is fantastic in my opinion. But this game is really great, whatever system you play it on. I'm sure many of you have either played this or heard how great it is, but it's a very cinematic, very well written. Of course, when you play a game from Naughty Dog, you expect there to be some fantastic dialogue and cutscenes. It's very engrossing. The third-person action gameplay is similar to that of Uncharted, but there is, of course, in this game an emphasis on stealth, and you get some very interesting firefights and situations where, you know, when you overcome these, you do feel pretty clever because it is quite a challenging game. But it's also a beautiful game, and it's one of the best looking games on the PS3. I got it for £8 from CEX. It was a little bit more than I was wanting to pay, but I knew it was a good game, so I thought, what the hell, I'll get it. And in that strange tradition of buying games from CEX, it doesn't come with a manual, which I don't know if the game did come with a manual or not. I assume it probably did at the time it came out, but it's a bit of a shame not to get one. I'm not so completely saying that I want a manual with every game, but I just find it odd that there's so many games that have their manuals go missing, especially a game like Last of Us. This isn't a kid's game. Your kid's not... Who reads the manuals? Maybe this has got a particularly good manual. I usually keep them in the front. You know, occasionally I have to refer to them though, which is why they're nice to have. Say it's a fighting game and you just want to work out the controls, or it's usually a control issue I jump to the instruction manual for. So, shame to have one, and it's interesting how so many games lose their instruction manuals. And there must be a load of instruction manuals flying around there that have probably gone in the bin. It's the same with all these games from CEX actually, although this one was very cheap. This was £1.50. It's a game, you've probably seen one of these episodes before. It's Puyo Pop Fever, and it's a great game of Puyo Pop, or Puyo Puyo as it's otherwise known. I have this on the GameCube, yep, but £1.50 for PS2. I thought, well, I don't have a Puyo Pop or Puyo Puyo game for the PS2, so this was so affordable. I thought I'll pick it up. It's got a very attractive cover. It's a very nice, fun game. I don't need to really go into much detail about Puyo Puyo because it's just a great puzzle game. Very fun. And last of all, in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Ace Combat Joint Assault, which was a game I wasn't really familiar with, but I thought it'd be great to have a combat flight game in my PSP collection. And this one was really cheap, like £4 or something, and it's really good from first impressions. It feels a lot like other Ace Combat games I've played, as you would expect, but I really love how Namco approach these sort of games, how they approach, say, a driving game or a flying game. They always add a lot of personality in, and this has characters in it, this has a storyline, this has a real reason for investing yourself in the events of the game. Just like something like Ridge Racer Type 4 has. You know, you're racing for a team, you want to do good for that team, you have interactions with the manager and such, and in this game you interact with your pilots as well. It's also multiplayer, and for the first time in the series you can fly over real world settings. But yeah, I've not played the multiplayer, of course, but it is online. I'm not sure if anyone's playing this. I don't think anyone's playing this, and I don't even know if you can play PSP games online. If anyone does know, let me know. But it's really well done, nice presentation. The Ace Combat series has always been quite accessible. My first Ace Combat game was Ace Combat 3, Electrosphere. Is it Electrosphere? I think that's what it's called. That was for the PS1. And I recently picked up another Ace Combat game for the Xbox 360, but I haven't really played that one yet. But this one's great, you know, it does the job. There's a couple of others on the PSP. I don't know which is the best one. I kind of like this one. I kind of quite happy with just this one, but if there is a better Ace Combat game on PSP, let me know. I'd also like to pick up an Ace Combat game for the PS3 at some point, so if you have any suggestions which is the best for PS3, do also let me know. And that's it for this episode of Parry's Pickup. Thanks very much for watching, really appreciate it. Do let us know if you enjoy the videos, it's always nice to hear, and if you have any criticisms or anything you'd like to see in the videos. I'm aware that gameplay footage is missing from the last few videos, and this video included. That's unfortunate because I don't have a laptop anymore, and it makes it very difficult for me to actually record the footage now. So before I was lacking a recorder, now I have that, and I was happily adding gameplay footage to videos using that on my laptop, and then I left where I was and wasn't able to take the laptop with me, and there you go. No laptop, but in the future I hope to have one or find an alternative way of capturing footage. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video, and until next time, game on.